Today I wanted to talk about the Sega, Mega Drive, and Genesis classics. This is an entire boatload of different games that are on Steam that are going to be going away, apparently delisted from Steam anyway, coming in December. So this is the time to get them. They're pretty cheap. All of these are like really good games, so really you could just grab the whole bundle, but if there are any specific ones that you would want to get, I will be pointing them out, specifically talking about JRPGs probably, but also a couple of action RPGs that could be really good for you. Starting at the bottom, because there's a whole slew of games here that you should definitely check out and see if you're interested in. Phantasy Star, always a great series. Phantasy Star 2, kind of where I felt like it started. Phantasy Star 1 is a little bit different. I think it's like dungeon crawling first person. This one kind of moved more towards what we now think of when we talk about JRPGs. And then there's Phantasy Star 4, which is one of the best JRPGs of all time. And it's just really, really cool. It holds up. I played it not too long ago. I think I played it like a year or something ago, and it still holds up, which is great. It doesn't have anything like way too many random encounters or anything like that. There are a bunch of different planets that you can go to, different locations, different vehicles. You can even fight in some of the vehicles, which is really cool. And the story is just great. It has a presentation that is it's kind of like comic based almost, which is something that they decided to go with in Phantasy Star 4 that just levels up the way that the different cutscenes look. So that is a great one. I'm going to be coming back to this one, Beyond Oasis, but we're going up here. Shining Force. Shining Force, this for me is where my love of tactical RPGs came from. This is like the first series that I really played in terms of tactical RPGs. It's where I wish that tactical RPGs would have gone. Just because the way that Shining Force does things, it's not like your traditional tactical RPG, or what we consider traditional at this point. It's where it should have gone. But they play out more like regular JRPGs, where you have exploration through different towns, going through the world. There's like a world map that you go through, and you're talking to people. You even find hidden characters through searching and exploring the world and going to these different towns. But then all of the combat takes place on a grid, more like a Fire Emblem game. So there's advanced classes, things like that. It's just incredible. They're so good. They're probably pretty basic now. It's been a while since I've played them, right? And I imagine the story is pretty basic. A lot of the gameplay is a bit more basic, but it just feels good. It's just nice. It's just a really classic tactical RPG that you can play that I think should hold up really well at this point. So Shining Force 1 and 2, definitely grab those from the bundle if you don't get anything else. Obviously, another game that you could go with that is still in the Shining series is Shining in the Darkness, which is a really good quality dungeon crawling game, first person, but it still has that Shining Force feel to it. I think this was actually the first Shining game, so you can kind of see where some of the ideas came from in the Shining series. Really cool. I think that one's good. And then we go down to the bottom of the list and we got the Wonder Boy series. So there are a couple of different Wonder Boy games in here, and these are 2D kind of platformer slash action RPGs that are just really well done. I think they're pretty similar to like Shantae, if you've ever played any of those games. But these are like some of the early games in the series. I think there's a much later Wonder Boy game that came to Steam as well. So these are some of the earlier ones. They're pretty simple, but they're a lot of fun actually. Beyond Oasis, also a really good game. A top-down action RPG. has different boss fights and all of this stuff, all the stuff that you would like in action RPGs as well. And then Landstalker, definitely an interesting game. It's kind of like, it's a bit weird. It's a bit of a unique one. For a time period, there was this, not a lot, but a couple of these games that have this style where it's like isometric. It almost looks like a Ultima 7 style, where top down, but kind of like isometric action RPG with a lot of puzzles and platforming and stuff like that. The other one with this, I think there was like Lady Stalker, which sounds really bad for a title, but I think that's like related to the Landstalker game. And then there was another one for the Saturn, but I can't remember what it's called. Completely different name. It doesn't have Stalker in the name. But yeah, those are pretty cool. So I think in terms of like JRPG or JRPG adjacent, those are most of the games. But there's just a ton of different classics on here that are really good. Comic Zone, another like sort of platformer game. Golden Axe, obviously a classic. You can just go down the list, and it's just classic after classic. Alex Kidd, which is kind of like Monster Boy, very similar to Monster Boy. These are all good games to pick up, and they're pretty cheap. They're like 99 cents, so not really any reason not to get them on Steam. I think I got this collection off from Amazon, so I have it somewhere else. All of these games are great, so really you could just buy the whole bundle, but definitely pick up Phantasy Star, any of the Phantasy Star games. 3 is a little bit different. People don't necessarily like 3 as much because it's very different, but 4 is the big one. Definitely get Phantasy Star 4 and Shining Force, the 2 Shining Force games off from this. They're very cheap, very easy. Then you can have them on Steam and play them whenever you would like. All right, that is it. So, thanks for watching.